My guest today is J.F. Harris. J.F. is a comedian and writer. I have your coffee records enthusiast. I think that was from last time. Did I add that or did you?
I think that was you.
Well, you still are, I think.
It's true.
Um,
Even
yeah.
cassettes.
He was featured on Bill Burr's Comedy Central show, The Ringers. He was also on The Late Late Show, and he has toured with The Impractical Jokers. His
I've been
comedy
on a lot
special.
of canceled TV shows, buddy.
Yeah, well, haven't we all? His comedy special, People Make Mistakes, is available through All Things Comedy and 800-Pound Gorilla. Find him on Instagram at the JF Harris and YouTube at JF Harris Comedy. And go to his website, jfharris.com. All that stuff will be on there, plus dates for his shows. Thanks for being here again, JF.
Yeah, buddy, of course. You look nice, clean shaven.
Yeah, I had to shoot something where I needed to be clean shaven, and there's a little stubble coming back
Yeah, I
now.
can see it coming back in the corners.
I'm not comfortable with a clean shaven. It was very shocking when it happened, and I don't think my neck is good clean shaven. So we're going back to a beard.
Buddy, you're talking to a guy who hasn't been clean shaven. I wasn't even clean shaven at my wedding. Like my wife was like, "Are you gonna do a clean shave?" And I was like, "I can." And she was like, "It would look weird."
Yeah, yeah. I had I'm still in Miami. This is my last couple days here, and so it's a lot of friends I grew up with. And when I saw a couple of them right after I shaved, they were complimentary, but I could tell they were just being nice. They were like, "Oh yeah, you look younger," or something. Like,
I mean, you do look younger. I will say that.
oh, okay, well, maybe I'll keep it. I've asked this to you before, but I'll ask it again. I always ask it. What's your problem?
I'm an alcoholic, amongst other things. But my main problem is alcoholism. I've been sober. I just celebrated December 25th. I just celebrated 13 years sober,
Awesome,
which is
congratulations.
fun. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I feel grateful to be 13 years sober. It's like one of those things of like I didn't do any of it, but I just kept showing up and people helped.
Well, yeah, and you have a baby now, so
I
that's
do. I have a baby, which I wouldn't have if I wasn't sober, or I might have, but I wouldn't want, you know?
you might not be taking care of it. Those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be like literally when you message because I got the time wrong again. Um, the I was like just taking the baby out for a walk because the baby was like a little fussy because she could having a hard time falling asleep for a nap. And I like had her in the little walker and was walking down the block.
Yeah. Yeah, I think last time I talked to you, you were holding on to the whatever that's called. What is that called? The thing that
An
goes on.
erg.
Wait, that's
Yeah,
been there.
I walk around the erg, I would say pretty much almost every day for like an hour. And I just do like audiobook. And now I'm starting to I just cut back on the audiobook. So I'm 30 minutes audiobook. Then I listen to my set from the night before, which for me feels like very professional grown up thing to do. And then I use the last like usually like 15 minutes walking home to like think about the set and think about the jokes in the set and where else could I add stuff. And then I come home and then I meditate for 5 to 10 minutes and then I write for 20.
You're an adult now. It's great.
You know what's funny? I always wanted having a baby, not the one good thing. There's a lot of good things. And one of the good things that people talk about is that like it helps you like I think I've always wanted to be like a tackle everything kind of person. And finally, I just realized like you can't, so just do 20 minutes and like do 20 minutes of writing, do 20 minutes of sending emails, do, 10, 20 minutes of like just chipping away like 3 or 4 times a day is better than being like, I'm going to write 2 hours every day, 7 days a week. And it's like, no, you're not, but you can do 20 minutes.
December 25th, Christmas. That was when you stopped
Hit
drinking.
rock bottom, as
Yeah.
they say in the game.
I'm sorry. I've been doing this almost a year now, and I think you were the second episode.
Oh, no
And
way.
yeah, so we're getting close to a year. And
Congrats.
this is officially, I want to say, the 44th or 45th episode, but I skipped the week of the holidays, blah, blah, blah. So we're coming close to 52. Um, Thanks. Yeah, it's been great doing this, as I said in my brief holiday special. But I don't know how
What
much we talked about, like you stopping on Christmas like that.
we can talk about it. I can give you the full spiel. One thing I will say, one thing I want to ask you is, since I'm a return customer and it's um like an early one for you, what what's like the biggest one or two of the biggest takeaways you've gotten from doing the pod?
Oh, like personally, what I've gotten out of it?
Yeah.
Uh, you know, the importance of, I mean, all podcasts, it's important to keep them on a schedule and going, like weekly is preferable. But I think that is also an important thing because it's an addiction podcast. I apply that to, you know, my recovery and dealing with my addiction is keeping not necessarily the schedule, but just regimented, like making sure that I am doing the things I need to do so that I don't go back to gambling. And
Yeah.
the times that I have gone back to gambling uh, always was I stopped doing the things. I stopped the roadblocks. I stopped, calling people, talking to people, doing the work that I need to do. And I think that this podcast, not I don't think, for sure, this podcast has strengthened me to that resolve of doing those things. And so also, um, I've said this before. It's the first thing I've done. I mean, it is entertainment. It's still a podcast. A lot of them are entertaining, but it's also supposed to be like a tool for people if they enjoy listening to it and they like it. But it's the first thing I've done since I've been a comedian where it's been overwhelmingly positive. So, where it's like I'm always waiting for like these comments like you suck, and like no, it's been nice.
That's
So
great.
it's been great for my mental health. Normally, when I did the podcast with Jim Jeffries, I don't know about that. Most people were very positive, and I still have a lot of people, some people that have moved over from that podcast or to here. And hello, everybody. But also, I would never. I stopped going into the comments in that podcast because there would be people that just did not like me in there, which
That's
is
funny. I generally try to stay out of the comments. Like sometimes on Instagram, I'll snap back at people just for fun to keep the engagement going. But otherwise, for the most part, I try to not engage too much. And like similar things I've learned through quitting drinking, now I'm applying those similar to like okay, I can't just like social media for me. I can make stuff, but like I can't have it, you know? It's got to be off my phone or bricked. And I bought for Christmas this year, I bought a couple of landlines for the house, but they're
wow.
like Bluetooth, so they hook up to your phone, so I can put my phone on work mode. And then the only people who can get through are the people that I tell my phone that are allowed to get through. So it's like my wife, my parents, my sister, a couple of my childhood friends, and that's kind of it. The improv, the comedy store,
Yeah.
important work stuff.
No flappers.
Flappers, they're more of an email than a text or a phone call.
We love flappers. I
I
do.
do love flappers. That's another thing that sobriety teaches you, that like um the perception of like what's important, like perceived um importance, because so much of being sober is, when I was younger and a lot of my drinking was about feeling like low status and wanting to feel high status. And I think when you're a younger comedian, in a similar way, like you're like, I gotta get in at the Comedy Store, I gotta get in at the Hollywood Improv. And then one day you get a little bit older and you get right sized, as they would say in the program, and you're like, oh, Flappers is a valuable tool. It's a place that's very low stakes. There's always people. They're excited to be there. And it's like an excellent place to explore and try stuff, where I know a lot of people kind of shit on it, but it's like, it's a great tool to have in the toolbox. You can go out to the valley, no one knows you're there, and you can just
Ah,
like, let's
great. everybody that works there is like pleasant and nice, and
So
yeah,
pleasant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, the people that shit on like, I don't want to keep harping on the Flappers stuff, but like that, or like a club that they think is like, where it's not one of the big three, like, are morons. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I'm not you know, I think the big three is pretty changeable too, because I would put comedy and magic in the big three, and there's
Yeah.
another one of the big three I wouldn't put in the big three.
Yeah, me too. All right, we're gonna get in trouble. But I love that Comedy Magic's another one where it's just like,
Laugh Factory already doesn't book me, so I don't give a shit.
okay, yeah, all right, I'll tag him in this. I'll tag him with the clip. But yeah,
Great.
Comedy Magic too. So Christmas Day, 13 years ago.
Yeah, December 25th. It was a rough Christmas Eve. That's kind of the better way to put it, you know? I do you want like the full pitch?
Sure.
Okay. I It was December 24th. It was my last drink, technically, kind of. And then I wasn't planning on going out drinking that night. I'm the type of alcoholic that I didn't need to have a drink every single day, but when I did drink most days, but uh, I didn't know how many I was gonna have. That was my problem. I didn't have the turn it off switch. So I wasn't planning on drinking that night, Christmas the next day with the family. My now ex-wife was wanted to go to the bar with a bunch of our friends. So, and she like twisted my arm into going. She didn't really have to twist my arm, but I ended up at the bar and I hadn't done any of the prep work. You know what I mean? I hadn't like laid a base, ate the right foods, made the plans. And when I got there, they were all sharing a pitcher of beer, and I got my own pitcher of beer. And I was like outpacing them, and there was like four of them on a pitcher and me by myself kind of thing. Um, and I hadn't eaten anything, and it was this place called Rudy's in New York City. It's on Ninth Avenue in between 40. Well, I'm not going to tell because this alcoholics listening to this, they don't need to know where it is. And so, but they gave away free hot dogs. When you got a pitcher of beer, you can have unlimited free hot dogs. So I just ate a lot of hot dogs, and just crushed pitchers of beer. And we shut the place down. And it's that like New York in the winter, around the holidays, so it's got a specific spice of like the city's kind of empty, but the people who are left are kind of the orphans, so everybody's a little bit sad, you know. um and so then after the bar closed, should have went home, should have went to bed, everything would have been fine. But then I invited all the other people that my wife invited back over to our place. So we went next door to the bodega, picked up a bunch of tall boys, all went back and drank beers on our roof, this great apartment that was on 45th and Ninth. I had a rent stabilized, which is insane. And the roof was like in the middle of basically right off of Times Square. So you just felt like you were in the middle of Manhattan. And we sat up there and we drank beers all night. Then I went to sleep at some point, woke up the next morning, and we had to catch an express bus to Staten Island, um, which in itself is kind of a nightmare. And for some reason, we took the train to downtown to catch it. And we were going to, and I just wanted to get something to eat in my stomach. My stomach was all fucked up from the night before. And I was like, I just got to put something in my stomach. I just got to put something in my stomach. And my ex was so worried that we were going to miss the train, or miss the bus, that, um, I didn't go into the Starbucks and get like just like a breakfast sandwich. And then we got on the bus, and then the bus was because we went further downtown to catch it, the bus was jam packed. Like there wasn't an open seat on the bus. It was the heat in New York City on the bus in the winter, it was like turned up to 120. And so I had to surf my way from downtown Manhattan in the middle of the aisle all the way to Staten Island on this bus, and it's 1,000,000 degrees, and I'm just trying to not to throw up hot dog soup on all these people, right?
How many hot
And it
dogs?
was
Great.
oh, I probably put away at least 6 or 7 hot dogs. It was, you got one for free with every
Yeah.
pitcher, dude.
Yeah. That's sure. It's
Yeah.
you're losing money if you don't eat it.
Exactly. That's part of the price.
Yeah.
And it's not like this was high-end beer I was drinking. These were like probably pitchers of like Pabst or something cheap, whatever the cheapest thing on tap was. And so I somehow managed to make it without throwing up on all these nice people and ruining their Christmas. And then we get to Staten Island. My dad's there waiting for us. He's kind of mad. I don't exactly remember why. We were probably like late or something like that. And then when we get to my cousin's house, I'm like, oh, sorry, can I borrow the car for a second? I forgot something. And the thing I forgot was Christmas presents for everybody. I hadn't bought any yet because, self-centered alcoholic. And then so me and my ex-wife drove to 7-Eleven, and my standard joke is nothing says, or not 7-Eleven, sorry, CVS. My standard joke is nothing says rock bottom like giving your mom a Chili's gift card for Christmas.
Yeah. So it was all
And
gift cards from CVS.
so I just got all gift cards from CVS and gave those to everybody in my family. And I didn't even go in and buy the gift cards because I was so nauseous. I stayed in the CVS parking lot throwing up while my ex-wife went in and bought all the gift cards. Um,
Oh,
and then she came back, we went back, and I'm from a giant Irish Catholic family. So it's like I let's put it, I have my grandmother has 27 great grandchildren.
wow.
So like I have like 40 or 50, 40-ish first cousins on like that you of the family,
Yeah.
you know? And
So
then
you
my
you
mom's
gift cards for all of them?
not for all of them, from immediate family, and then like there's like grab bags and stuff like that, fun games, singing. It's a real party.
Got
And
it.
but I was too sick to do any of it, so I just went in the basement of my cousin Christy's house and laid on the couch and I had the shakes. Well, like, and I could hear everybody else upstairs having like a great time, and I'm down there feeling like shit. And I remember being on the couch and having a moment of like, this is not the life I'm supposed to have. Like, this is not what my life's supposed to be like. And that was like I knew there was like a different version of myself out there, and I wasn't doing that. And that's what like my kind of like, and that was the moment I was like, I need to quit drinking, you know?
Mm.
And and at first I was like, oh, I'm going to take a break. But I honestly believe anybody who's like, oh, I'm going to take 30 days off, you should take all of the days off, you know?
Yeah.
And so I got my shit together. And luckily, because of what we do for a living, I'm a comedian. I know alcoholics and I know sober alcoholics. And I reached out to one of them and was like, I remember I quit drinking for like 90 days once, just as like because someone told me that I looked like a movie star who's very robust, and I took that to heart, and then I was like, oh shit. And then I quit drinking for 90 days. I lost like fucking 40 or 50 pounds. It was crazy. I just rode my bike into the city every day from Staten Island and got like shredded, and then not shredded, but got in good shape,
Yeah.
and like realized I could save enough money to move from like a studio to a one bedroom by not drinking. And I was drinking like Pabst, and I drank for free a lot of nights of the week because of comedy. And then I started drinking again after that 90 days, and I was in Toronto, and like within a minute I was like off, within that night I was like off the rails.
Yeah.
But so I knew this time around like I probably really needed to stop. And I reached out to somebody in the program, the one of the 12 step programs, and I said to them, oh, during that period when I quit for 90 days, I asked a comic who I knew who was sober, and I was like, about it. And he was like, just go to a meeting. He goes, you'll know if you're supposed to be there. And then another comedian that I knew took me to my first meeting, which was like an LGBTQ meeting, because they fall into that category, but I don't. I'm like a cis straight white dude. Um, but the first meeting, like the first person shared, and I was like, oh, I do that. And the second person shared, and I was like, oh, I do that. And the third person shared, and I was like, ah, fuck, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
But it was actually kind of nice because even though um I'm lucky because I was able to hear the similarities from the start. Like I didn't look at the people around me and be like, oh, these people are different from me. I could see that they had the same thing I had,
Yeah.
and it was like the gift. So I think of like, you know, that version of myself when I was in the basement where I was like, there's this dude out there, and that's like who I'm supposed to be, and I'm not that. I'm kind of fucking up in this life. Like, this isn't the life I'm supposed to have. I think that's the version of myself that my higher power wants me to be, and it's like my job to just kind of walk in that direction, you know, and like do my best to be that person. And like so much of that is just like being present, and in the moment is kind of my ideal of what a higher power is. I don't, you know, I don't have a capital G God in my life, but I do think it's just like being present, being available for the people in my family and the friends and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. By the way, I was smiling when you were talking about that first meeting because that was the same experience I had. I went in there thinking that I was the same thing. Didn't want to that didn't belong there, and that none of these people were going to understand anything. I wasn't going to relate to them at all. And then, sure enough, it was like every single person that shared. I was like,
You're like, ah.
oh, yeah, that, also that. Okay, so
I mean, also going to that meeting early on, that was like it was like all young people. It was all like early 20s, New York City, like gay, trans, gender, non-binary, like everybody. They were all so fun. Everybody was so fun and so friendly and so inviting
yeah,
that like I was just like, oh, my life's not over. Like these people are having a fucking blast. Like they're everybody's going out. They're going to parties. They're going to like drag shows. They're like they're living it up, and it made me go like, oh, I can still have fun. This can still be cool.
yeah,
And honestly, dude, it's the best thing. It's like I joke a lot, but getting divorced and getting sober are two of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And but it really is like, you know, like I I feel I don't think I ever would have gotten, and I'm not you know, I still have anxiety. I'm still not always the most comfortable, but I don't think I would have been anywhere near the level of comfort that I have now if I didn't stop drinking, and I wouldn't have been able to put a life together. Honestly, I probably would have been dead
yeah.
from
Well,
just
yeah,
boozing.
I think almost everybody I talk to on here, that's an addict. I mean, I have some people that I just had a professor on recently, but yeah, I feel like the stories that I've heard from people on here, everyone would be dead. If, and
Yeah.
somehow some of them weren't already. You know what I'm saying? Like they made it through parts where you're like, wow, okay. I don't know if you watched the Charlie Sheen doc. Did you
Not
watch that?
yet. No.
I mean, you know that without watching it, that he should have been dead. You know, you probably have an inkling or something, but when you watch it, you're just like,
Yeah, I'm sure he did enough blow to kill a small horse.
yeah, just situations and stuff too. I mean, for me, I was in a lot of situations with guns, you know, because I owed money to people, you know, and there was threats made to me, and I never, no one was ever actually physical with me. I mean, I was watching that show, not to make everything a TV, but Black Rabbit, that
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
Jason Bateman. It's not bad. Um, there's things I like about it, but I uh, I always appreciate when an actor encapsulates a gambling addict, at least, you know, because I know I can't speak to other things, but I can speak to gambling, like whether somebody's nailed or not. I talked with this Vince Carone, who's a comic out of Chicago. He's a gambling addict. We talked about Uncut Gems and how close that was to reality. Like he crushed it. Like that is like as good of a characterization of somebody that's a gambling addict that I've seen that Adam Sandler did. But Jason Bateman does a good job in this show too, because his character and whoever wrote it does, because they were just like, he does so many things that I was just like, ugh. But there's a scene in there, I'm not going to ruin it for you, where he's physically, you know, there's something that happens to him physically for these people that he owes money to. And I remember watching that and I was like, oh, forget like, I'm, you know, talking about being alive or not. I was looking back and like, you know, reflecting when I was watching that. I'm like, I'm so lucky that none of that ever happened to me, but it could have. It easily could have. What happened? Like stuff that
Yeah.
happened to him, I was like, very easily could have happened to people
Yeah,
that.
when like Tony Soprano runs up and hits that guy with the car because
Yeah,
he owes money.
yeah. No, 100%. I look back and I'm like, wow, how did I escape? I mean, there was situations, or I mean, I know how some of them I got out of. I sold my truck to CarMax to pay off a debt. I took out line of credit after line of credit on the house that I owned in Miami. Like I know how I did it. It's not good, but it's just like still there comes a point where you can't even do that anymore, and you're just kind of like running for your life. So it's yeah, that's I don't remember the last time you were on here if we how specific or not specific you got on the story of the
I don't
Christmas.
remember
Yeah,
either because it was like a year ago.
I don't remember the hot dog and the hot bus thing. I think I would remember that. When you said hot bus, I was already like, I don't know who's watching this that controls how like
Eh,
public
y-
and private transportation, whether it be buses, trains, airplane, and stuff. We don't want it hot. I don't care if
yeah.
somebody is too cold. That's on them. They're supposed to
Y-
bring a jacket. Like freezing is always better than hot. Like this, no, stop with the hot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember being on a mega bus one time. Also, I think Zora Mondani will now be in charge of that. The bus was literally like tropical on the inside. Like,
yeah,
and it was so hot and everyone's sweating and cold, so all the windows get steamed up on the inside. So
smells.
if
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like kind of a nobody wants to be on a public transportation sauna. Um, but yeah, I remember being on a mega bus early on in comedy, going from like probably like Madison. I think it was going from like Madison, Wisconsin to Chicago on the mega bus, and it was so cold that my feet were freezing through the floor. And I
Yeah.
think I would rather that than hot ass bus.
I've had that before. I've got sometimes you're on a plane, and for whatever reason, if you're I sit aisles mainly now, but when I first started flying a lot for comedy, I would go by a window, and and sometimes
Yeah,
you're near the like I don't know if it's like where the AC is or there's like, but there's been times when like my right foot, if it's near the window, or my left, whatever side I'm on, would just be frozen solid, and I'd have to get blankets and like wrap my feet in and stuff. But again, I will take frostbite and you sawing off one of my toes after that over sweating in a plane with other people. It's like,
yeah, window best because you can put your head against the wall and fall asleep.
I like the aisle. Well, also the aisle was like a move that I made the fatter I got, and I've been losing weight, so maybe I'll go back to window. But I like to be able to spread to man spread. You can put the arm up. There's a little button under the
Yeah,
arm.
yeah, yeah.
You slide that up, and then you can spread out, and then I have more foot range, and I could get up and walk and stretch and stuff without like waking somebody up or something like that. So
Also, you fly so much. You don't have one set airline that you're moving up, getting bumped up.
yeah, Delta. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You don't always get bumped up.
I
So
know.
and on the longer flights, you don't. I'm going to be a million miler in probably a month. I'm flying to Australia in February. That is probably the flight where,
Wow.
where I will become a million miler. So in my brain, this is my fantasy I have in my brain that on the way back I'll be a million miler, and I'm flying Delta there to and from Australia. Obviously, I'm getting and my fantasy is I show up to the airport in Melbourne or Sydney, I forget wherever I'm flying back from, and they're like, "Sir, we have a flatbed here for you." I don't think that's going to
Yeah,
happen
yeah.
either. Just like, hey, I
You
know some,
never know.
yeah, but I want them to be like, as a reward, this 15
Oh,
hour
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you'll be
Maybe
lying down.
on that flight, when you're halfway through, they'll just be like, "Sir, you just hit 1,000,000 miles. Would you like to come up to first class?"
I don't know. If it's halfway through, they'll just give me someone's like leftover meal. They'll be like, here you go.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Here's some
Here's
bread.
some John and Vinny's brownies.
Yeah. So yeah, no, but I've flown, but also, as you know, even if you're dedicated to one airline, there's sometimes you just can't do that airline for whatever reason. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I do know. They I lost my status recently because
yeah,
I just didn't travel this year. And the year before, I was traveling a ton, but I wasn't the one buying my flights. So it was like a lot of corporate stuff. So they would just buy what worked best for them.
yeah.
And I would request American, but sometimes you'd end up on like a Continental or something like that. And it just wasn't the same, baby. One
Continental
thing that's funny
25 years
too,
ago. No, God,
what's
no.
that?
Is it Continental? Were you flying
Oh,
25?
United. Sorry, United. United and Continental merged, and they kept the Continental logo, but the United name. Um, the uh, One thing that's funny about being a sober person who travels a lot, when I used to have really good status, I used to be Platinum Pro on American at one point in my life, and I had like all the credit cards and the whole thing, is that comes with like unlimited free drinks in the lounge.
Oh yeah.
And as an alcoholic, it always felt like I was missing out on free money.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, like, I didn't want to drink, but I'm just like, this is all free, you
Yeah.
know, especially if you like are international and you go to like the British Airways Lounge in London. Oh, chef's kiss, one of the best lounges in the world. They got fucking mimosas out and all that shit. And you're
Yeah.
just like, all this is free. I don't even want it, you know. But I mean, you know, I'm lucky. I'm at the point in my alcoholism where I see booze and I have zero, like, oh, I want that, you know. I
Yeah. It's
can't
cool.
even remember. I
I've
can't even.
the boosting, and I don't care about the fruit. It's the food because that's my other addiction is to food. Is I don't respect food and not what it's doing for me. I'm just like throwing it. And that's how I got so fat. That's how I got so large until, this past year where I've lost the weight. But
How much have you lost so far?
I just weighed myself the other day. So let me do the math. 89 pounds.
Holy shit, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is how big I was, by the way. To get to the weight I want to be at, which, by the way, the weight I want to get to is not like six-pack abs, ripped, all this stuff. The weight I want to get to is still 35 pounds away. And if I get to that weight, some people will still look at me and be like, oh yeah, that guy's overweight, which I will be technically overweight, but that's how large I was. So I mean, you saw me,
Wow.
you know me, you've seen
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
It's like,
You're like me. I used to go back and forth a lot. And I've thought about doing the food program and stuff like that, but I never have. Um, but similar now where it's like 20 minutes a day. I recently just went back because I gained a shit ton of weight after the baby was born. My wife lost all of this weight. She lost like fucking 40 pounds in like 6 weeks. And I put on like 40 pounds in like 6 weeks, the first 6 weeks the baby was born, because you're just fucking tired all the time. And you're like, fuck it, yogurt pop in the fridge to the face, 2 a.m. Fuck it, let's have a second one. You're just like exhausted, especially in the beginning. And, you know, we were just keeping crappy food in the house, you know, eating a lot of cheese and cheese on bread and stuff like that. And recently I just like was like, okay, I can't do that anymore. I got really fat. I don't want to be fat. So I went back to the diet that I did, or something similar, a looser version of the diet I did when I shot my last stand-up special, and I lost 36 pounds that time. And now I'm trying to lose 56 pounds. And I'm down like 9 pounds this month.
oh, nice. Yeah, this is a tough month to be down too, because this not
I
only
let
have
myself.
and not only is it holidays, I've been on the road for a while, and also back to the place I grew up. So I'm like, the place I grew up with, all of the imprinted foods that I'm like, I got to go to that place and I have to have a sandwich, and like with my friends that just want to go out and eat all the time in the holidays. And so the fact that I haven't lost a lot of weight on this trip, but I haven't gained any. So I'm kind
That's
of
a
just,
win.
all right, we're
Huge
good.
win.
Yeah, I'll be
Same
back.
with me. During the holidays for Christmas, I let myself eat holiday food, and like we did cookie. I made cookies and cinnamon rolls and like, you know,
Yeah.
uh and like I went up like a little bit, and then now today I'm like back to where I was right before the holidays.
Yeah, well, you got through the holidays and you've lost weight, so that's good. Keep it going. It's what I was going to say about food, though, is that's what I would do in the airport lounges when I had access to them. It wasn't even about the alcohol. I could care less. I barely drink when I'm flying, if ever. Um, I would go in there. I'm like, well, it's free food, so I got to do it. So I would like eat, even if I wasn't hungry, and I had already eaten breakfast. I would go in there and get like a bunch of stuff, and then I'd wrap whatever was trapped, like I could take with me. I'd do it, and I was just like, yeah, that's how
The
I treat. It's a different, the same.
Dude, I never left the American Airlines lounge without 3 bananas in my bag. If I was going if I was going home, Those were my bananas for my shakes when I got home, so I wouldn't have to go right to the grocery store. And if I was going somewhere on the road, you're like, I'm gonna be in a comedy club, hotel, condo, or a hotel for like 3 days. I need something healthy, so I
Yeah.
just have like a banana in the room. This way, I can have a banana for breakfast.
Yeah, I have a thing now and for the food because, like, and that was, I'm not saying
Are
I'm
you doing?
transferring the addiction is not the right word, but it's just another addiction that with the way,
Yeah,
the,
they say when you knock one down, another one pops up.
yeah. So I, I have a little, I have all the notes on my phone like everybody does. And I just have one that says travel food and I like add things that I find in there and stuff. But I mean, most of it is just like, if when you're traveling, the easiest thing to do is like nuts or something like that, or like beef jerky. This is like the only things in the airport you can get, But the main thing for me is like just it's like sugar, you know. Uh,
So that's what I
yeah,
basically cut out of my diet:
yeah, yeah.
sugar and dairy. So
But I
it's
treat
like
it, I treat it the same way now. I mean, that's what I've done. People are like, "How did you lose all this weight?" And I do jokes about it. About this is if you want credit for losing weight, this is the worst period in history for it because it's the Ozempic era, and everyone just assumes that you're on it.
it's
Um,
so funny. Yeah, I'm not doing Ozempic,
yeah,
uh, and I'm just doing it in the way that like I should be, which is just like exercise and eating moderately. And I'm just trying to lose like a pound to 2 pounds a week until
yeah,
I mean, my goal is to get in really good shape by my daughter's first birthday.
nice, yeah. Well, our buddy Jim Jeffries was like, he every time he would see me, he's happy for me, like he's like always like complimentary and stuff, but he's always like, "You sure you're not an Ozempic?" And I'm like, "No, first of
That's
all,
so funny.
I can't afford it, buddy. You have money. Like it's not even a thing that like that would be covered in my insurance. But also, no, I want some credit here. So
I
the joke I always say is like it must be like what it was to hit a home run. And back when everybody was doing steroids, and you're not on steroids, and you'd be like, yeah, I just did. Like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, cool. Yeah, you're taking the jab, right? Like so, but yeah. Well,
yeah,
keep it
I
up,
had a
man.
conver
It's tough. It's tough. Keep it up.
yeah, I had a conversation about the Ozempic with Jim in London because we did some shows together in
Yeah.
London at Top Secret. And yeah, he was talking about it and it
Me?
was funny.
Me?
No, 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 about him and like him thinking about doing it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's always. I mean, he's on television a lot more than we are as like a host of shows, and stuff. So he's always having his mind's always, like so. It's, but he's
I think you
no
know,
good.
I do think a lot in this industry we're in. Not even like I don't really act or do any of that stuff, but just for fucking pure social media reasons alone, I'm like, if I am in better shape, more people will stop to hear what I'm talking about.
I have found that my comedy is better too. It's not even that I've lost weight. It's the energy. My brain
Yeah.
works better. Um,
Yes.
I'm not tired in the middle of the day. So like I'm doing the thing like we talked about. Like I'm constantly if I'm not writing jokes, I'm working on the show that I'm doing, the Ocean Hates You, or something else. And I found like I have all this not just creative energy, but just energy in general to do stuff. And then when I get to a show and I'm like, oh, we have a 9:30 show. I'm not like, oh, I'm not tired at 9:30 right now. Somehow that's cool.
Yeah.
It's been it's been really helpful. But I definitely at the end was it was an addiction issue because there were times when it wasn't just like, oh yeah, I'm stress eating or this or that, whatever. I would eat some sort of fast food, just whatever bad fast food you can think of. And then like that would be like at 10 o'clock at night or 10:30 at night after I got out of a show. And then I would be like, I'm not hungry, but I'm going to go get some more food because I'm going to stay up and I'm going to watch a movie and I need to be able to do something, whatever. And I would like throw some other shit down my gullet. So I would like eat literally like 2,000 calories at like 11 o'clock at night or something, or 2,500 calories. And then just, maybe I should get some ice cream too. And I remember talking to myself in my brain the same way I would do with gambling, like that, like basically talking bad about myself to myself, like telling myself, I'm a piece of shit, blah, 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 this and that, whatever, for doing that, as I was doing it and then doing it again, and
Yeah.
um, I think that was part of it too, was the whole as a lot of things happen out in Southern California. I went out to the desert and I was staying at my friend's house by myself, just me and Arnie. And we have that time to reflect on it. That was really where it started for me. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And also I need to do this because it is affecting my life negatively. I have to flying. That's how we started talking about all this, just that, even that alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a tough one. But all right. What I wanted to ask, there was a question. Oh, um, what is something, by the way, there was something you said earlier that I thought was I don't remember now. I'll remember it in a second. What is something that people say? Because I have an answer to this, but like, what is something people say about addiction that like upsets you? Like, or maybe it's like preconceived notions they have of addicts or something like that.
Um, the thing that kind of accepts me more is something that addicts say. It's like I don't think there's one way to do it. I think it works differently for everybody. Like I think, there are some people who are like, this is how you get sober, or this is how you do this. And I'm like, you don't know. I mean, I think there are ways that work better than others, or there's ways that have worked well for me. But I think outside of like sharing your own experience, which is what you're supposed to do, um, you can't really tell somebody else how to do it. You can just say what worked for you. And I hate when someone's like, this is how you do it. And it's like, that's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I think because I've been to meetings and stuff where I'm like, oh, if there was a new person in this room, they're not coming back after that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's, I'm a big fan of like wear it like a loose veil, which is a saying in the 12-step program that I'm in. Um, and I really think it's true. I think it's like, you know, it's the cloak, it's the armor you take out into the world with you, but also you're not supposed to use it's not like a hammer for beating people over the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And people are only going to get sober when they get sober,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they're ready to change. And that but as far as the way other people perceive me, I don't give a fuck. Like they're not me. You know what I mean? Like no, that idea of somebody else's, I still care what other people think about me in certain aspects of my life, and I would like to let that go a little bit more. Um, and it's usually kind of more of people who are in parental roles in work environments
Mhm.
can spin me out, but that's kind of disappeared a lot over the past couple of years through therapy, which I love. And I only got into therapy because I was sober long enough that therapy actually would work, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but for the most part, it's like I'm trying to be happy, joyous, and free, and like caring what other people, how they perceive me. That's not my problem. Like that's their problem. And whoever they think I am, that's a version of me they're creating in their head to deal that is part of a storyline that they're involved in, and I'm not. I'm over here keeping my side of the street clean and like just doing what I need to do on a day-to-day basis to enjoy my life.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to write some dick jokes and not drink.
Yeah. Dick jokes. Yeah. You know what I tell myself? I'm not, this is just what I tell myself. So if there is anybody listening that is not an addict, which there could be, um, I'm not, I look at addicts and myself included and as being superior is the wrong word, but like almost like hardened, toughened, have gone through this and come through it. And I almost look at it as like benefits the wrong word because it certainly was not a benefit to be is not a benefit to be a gambling addict because I've lost tons of money and respect and trust like through my life. But I do feel I'm a better person through having gone through it, a stronger person, a better, stronger person from having gone through it and come out the other side on it. And so I almost think like sometimes I'm almost thankful for it because I feel like there are there's an outlook on life and decisions I make, I think, based on all of the shit that I've gone through to get to where I'm at, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that.
It 100% makes sense. I'm super grateful to be an alcoholic. And there's people who will say that, like, I used to go to meetings and I'd hear people say that and I didn't understand it or I was so angry. And it's like, it gave me a structure in my life and a place to go to with people like me that I can connect and not feel alone. And it gave me, there's another saying, which is esteemable acts build self-esteem. And I learned self-esteem through the program that I'm in. And like, that's what gave me the confidence to be the person I am and put together the life I have. Like, none of it was easy, but I'm grateful for it. And I know what you're saying. And similar, I think addicts are able to cut through the bullshit a little bit more. You know, you go to enough meetings, you hear people talk open and honestly, and then you start doing that. And I think we have, I think we're a little bit more open, we're more sensitive, and you're able to connect more deeply with other people. You know, you know, I don't have a problem if I'm in a Starbucks and I asked the person at the counter, I'm like, how you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm okay. I can tell that they're lying. And I'm like, well, that sounded like bullshit. What's going on? And I will talk to the person, and that's all like 12-step shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it makes me more in tune with like fellow humans. And you want
Yeah.
to know what? I get a lot of free coffee because of it. It's pretty nice.
See?
Both at meetings and at Starbucks. You know, if you treat the person in front of you like a person who's going through some shit, which the program taught me to do, everyone gets a lot nicer when you're like empathetic to their situation and knowing that you've also been through shit.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll
That
also share that like people will be like, what you do today? And I'll be like, I just came from a meeting, and I'll, you know, state the program I'm in to that person. And then sometimes you see like the wheels spin, and being like open and honest about being an addict and an alcoholic has been one of the things that like, you know how many fucking comedians on the road who are opening for me I've taken in their first AA meetings because we're like in the green room and I mention I'm sober, and then they're like, what's that like? And then, you know, they're like, I've been thinking about, and it's like, yeah, I know you've been thinking about it, buddy. Let's go.
yeah, yeah. Awesome.
And it's nice. I got a text from somebody yesterday, like, hey, I just celebrated 5 years sober. Thanks for taking me to my first meeting. It's like, oh, that's cool. That feels nice.
Yeah,
You know, that pops up a couple times a year from a few different people.
yeah, yeah. That's great. With regards to your addiction, what problem do you think you were like trying to solve?
Um, I have, you know, I grew up, I'm super dyslexic. Um, I have nerve damage in my hands, or it's like a resting tremor that like runs in my family. And I have cerebral palsy. So I think as a kid, I just never felt like I fit in. And also I had undiagnosed ADHD until I was in my like late 30s. And I think I had a hard time being present, and I had a lot of feelings and emotions, and I didn't know where to put them or how to process them. And so it was easier, and I felt uncomfortable around my peers and my friends. And so I used alcohol to feel emotions, also to suppress emotions, and to feel comfortable around my peers and with myself. And I can be drunk, and I idolized alcoholism, and I idolized like it helped me, you know, the idea of like, I'm just this artist who gets drunk and lives an artist lifestyle. And then, you know, you get to your like mid 20s and you're like, oh, I'm not making any art. I'm just getting drunk.
Yeah,
And you're like, so I'm not really an artist, you know, I'm not Jack Kerouac, because even though he was an addict and an alcoholic, he still wrote books.
yeah. You
I'm
wrote
doing
the book.
improv.
You wrote the book you read to where you thought it would just be cool to get fucked up and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's a small thing someone did that helped you more than they know?
Oh. In sobriety or in life?
You can answer it however you want. Doesn't matter.
I mean, Jackie Cation, Pete Lee, um, super grateful to them because um, they both helped me get in with comedy clubs that changed that like Pete Lee got me in with the Yoders, and when I first started doing stand up on the road, they gave me after I got in with them because of Pete, I got like 18 um like weekends on the road from the Yoders after working at Dr. Grins, and Jackie got me in with the Heliums in Cap City through at the time it was Rich Miller.
Mm.
She like got him to give me the thumbs up and Rich gave me like 10 and I was able to like become a full-time comic pretty early on. And I was also like pretty freshly sober. So like I think that kind of helped, you know, the fact that like it wouldn't have happened if I was like still a booze bag.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Um,
like those people that like changed my trajectory where I like was just like on the road a bunch and working really hard at stand up. Trying to think of somebody else like that. But yeah, those are two who I think about a lot, who I'm super grateful for.
yeah, and they're good. I don't know Pete Lee well, but everybody that I know that knows him says only good things about
Yeah,
him,
he's a really nice, caring person.
and Jackie as well. And like,
Jackie's the fucking best, dude. I think Jackie's hands down one of the most underrated stand-up comedians in the country. And I know Jackie's like very well rated, but I still she's just so good.
I
It's
feel like,
like,
by the way, I think there's certain comics. I mean, we say this all the time that when you're at a club like in LA or New York, wherever, like there's going to be a lot of comics on a showcase style thing that you watch their sets, and it's like Jackie's one of them. Like Jackie's like a
oh
comic.
yeah.
Oh, I want to watch Jackie's set versus, and no, if like everyone's, I have plenty of. That's not that people aren't funny. There's a lot of funny comics. I just don't care sometimes. But her, I'm always like, oh, I want to see what Jackie's set's going to be up. You know?
Hell yeah. Well, that's the thing of like you as you like get older in comedy, it's like you realize like my comedy is not for everybody. And I had a therapist ask me once, they were like, "Would your dad like your stand up?" And I was like, "It'd be a problem if he did. Like
Yeah.
that's not the person I'm trying to make comedy for. I'm trying to make comedy for me and our tastes are very different, you know?" And I think as you get old, like, yeah, I'm if I'm on a lineup and there's six comics, there's probably one or two that I actually want to watch. And I might respect and think everybody's funny, but like, you know, who I like want to who's gonna be the person who like Ramsey Badawi right now. Do you know Ramsey?
No.
He's one of the newest paid regulars at the Comedy Store. He might be the newest. He opens for Bobby Lee, and this dude's jokes are just phenomenal. Just great presence, great. He's like grew up in Long Beach. He's Palestinian. He's like just smart and funny, and there's always like a good amount of self-deprecation, but also like smart. It's really good. If you get a chance, watch a set or book him, have him on your show, dude.
Yeah. Well.
He's like one of my favorites to watch lately because we've been doing all these shows, these like Bobby Lee and Friend shows, because
Oh,
Bobby's
that's
getting
right.
ready to
Yeah.
shoot a special, and I'm opening for Bobby for a special. So we've just been like doing all these shows together, and every week he has like every show, you know, we're doing like two or three a week. He's got like new premise, new tag, new angle, and it's been really exciting to watch. It makes me want to write more. Like watching good comics
Yeah.
makes you want to be a better comedian.
Yeah. Yeah. Always. What song best describes your addiction?
Oh man, what song best describes my addiction? You know, it's funny. Um, there's like uh I, th- I almost drank myself to death a couple of times, but one time I did it. I woke up in a suit covered in vomit because I was like really into the Strokes at the time.
Mm,
So there might be like a Strokes song, or it might also be something like Captain Jack or Piano Man, like the stuff that I grew up on that made me like idolize drinking from the time I was like
yeah.
not old enough to like since I was like a fucking 4 year old. And then there's also some Walkman songs. I love the Walkman. Um, their most famous song is probably that song "The Rat," that a lot of people know. But they have this really kind of cool, mellower album called "You and Me." And I remember I flew to Chicago to see a girl, and then she kind of like blew me off when we were there.
Mm,
And and then I just like listened to this album on repeat in the like cold Chicago winter.
yeah.
And that or like Elliott Smith, you know, there's a lot of stuff. I had a lot of like I don't really listen to this kind of stuff anymore. It's funny. Someone on a podcast yesterday brought up Elliott Smith, and I was like, oh, I haven't listened to Elliott Smith in years. And there was like a period in my life where I listened to like only sad bastard music. You know, it was all like sad Otis Redding stuff, Modest Mouse, Elliott Smith. And it's like, I don't listen to any of that shit anymore. Like, and I still think it's great. And I put on Elliott Smith and I was like, wow, this is like hauntingly good. But I have no space in my life anymore for sad bastard music. I'm like listening to like weird jazz now while
Yeah.
I write,
I
write
it,
my,
occasionally on my phone I'll see Elliott Smith and I'm like, oh yeah, I like this, and I'll listen to it. But it is like pretty heavy duty. Didn't he
yeah.
die? Didn't he die choking on his own? Wasn't it like alcohol? Or
No, he killed himself, apparently, the people say, and he
yeah,
stabbed himself like 47 times or something like that, or 37 times,
that's
to the
right.
point where some people also are like, his girlfriend at the time definitely killed him.
47. Yeah. Oh, that's
It's
right. I
something
remember
weird
now.
like that.
I remember because there's a documentary I watched on a plane one time, and a lot of it's at like the Largo um
PTA.
What's his name? Franny? Why am I picking his name? He runs the
Oh, yeah, Flanny.
Flanny. Jeez, God, this is how bad my brain is getting. It's like I almost have the name that I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
Flanny
yeah,
was on it a bunch. I remember seeing him on there, and then yeah,
yeah.
having thing.
I,
Holy cow, terrible.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Um, what was I gonna say? Okay, what's the dumbest excuse you've ever told yourself to justify your addiction?
Oh man. Um, I don't know. I don't think I thought about it. You know, I think that's part of the problem is I just didn't think. I just kept doing it because I saw it as an extension of my personality,
Yeah,
you know?
I
So,
mean, you've said a couple already. I mean, free hot dogs with every pitcher. It's not a great excuse.
yeah.
That's like the lounge thing. I mean, it's all built into what we're out your everything that you're recounting anyways. Those are all like excuses that you know kind of things.
Yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I made them all the time, you know?
Sure. And what do you think is the worst addiction?
Uh, oh man. I'm happy I never did cocaine or heroin because I know I never would have came back. Like 100% without a doubt, I'd be gone.
Yeah.
There was like I have an older cousin who was addicted to coke for a while and it really fucked up his life. And I saw that happen. And when I started drinking, I knew it was probably going to be a problem. And I also had an alcoholic uncle. I'm sorry, an alcoholic grandfather. And in I knew I probably did have a problem from like a young age because I didn't have the shut it off gene, and I knew if I ever did coke, there was no coming back for me.
Yeah, yeah. What one word would you use to describe your addiction? Just one word.
Uh, it's probably suffocating.
Yeah. And what
Yeah.
about your recovery? One word.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice time. It's
Yeah.
pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we talked about it on the last time you were on here because I met you right after you got sober because just the timing. I know when I moved to LA, I met you right after I did Conan. So I did Conan in 2014. So yeah, we're like
So, yeah,
right.
I was about 2 years sober.
I've only known you as like this, like I always look at you as like this happy, like got it together kind of guy thing. So
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, no one has everything together, but you know what I mean? Like, just like, all right, yeah, JF's like on it, you know?
yeah,
So,
I try, you know, especially we met when I was like in a real like hustle part of my life where I was like trying to get on Conan and I was like recently divorced and moving out here or maybe still go in the process of getting divorced and like was really in that phase of my life where I was really trying to like build a life. So that might be why it seemed together.
well, I mean, I definitely said this in the last, but, do you, well,
You
I
thought I
guess,
was trying to fuck you.
no, I forget, I did say that, but no, when I shot my special, maybe I didn't mention it, but when I shot my special, that's on Amazon. If anyone wants to see a Poor Decisions, it's been on there a while, but it's still there. You helped me go pick out my outfit, which was like
I
such a
did.
nice thing to do. But it's just
Yeah.
like those are things that I look when I say together, I mean like I have friends that are definitely addicts, but haven't dealt with it yet. You know, they haven't come to
Yeah.
terms with it yet. And that's not something that they would offer to help me do. You know, like, hey, because we went to a bunch of stores I ended
Yeah,
up wearing the shirt we found, and it was like this whole thing. And I was like,
dude.
oh, that was really nice of JF to do that. Like, I really
I
appreciate
also love fashion, and there was a point in my life where that was my pop-up thing, was like buying clothes and stuff like that. I still shop, but not like I was in that time period. That was like a time period where I was like going
that.
crazy. But
I forget what store we got my shirt. It was a black shirt. I don't have it anymore. I wore it for a while, and whatever store we got it from, you were like, well, let's go in there, but this store, you were a little snooty about it. You're like, this store, we're not gonna. It's not, you know. And then we saw the shirt, and you're like, oh, it's pretty good, and that's the one I ended up wearing. I don't
it
remember if
wasn't like a pearl snap, like Western wear, black Western wear kind of shirt.
yeah, it wasn't. It was like buttons, but it was black with like a little gray. There weren't dots, but there was like some pattern on it, and it was
Yeah,
like American something, or I forget what
American
store.
Eagle.
Yeah, it was American Eagle, and
Yeah, 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 I remember that.
it's not gonna be in here. And then that ended up being the shirt, and I was like, all right.
Yeah,
Like, you're a little
yeah.
stupid about it, but you did go in there. To be fair, you're like, let's check it out. Let's see.
Yeah, you can find stuff. Well, also now my like opinion on like stuff, like now I'm like, I don't care about the brand. I don't want a logo on shit. Like I wear a lot of Grateful Dead shirts, but for the most part, outside of that, like I just like it should be plain, nothing flashy about it. I'm at the point where now it's like I used to buy all these different things, and now I'm just like, for the most part, trying to buy vintage. If I need something new, okay, but like, why buy new jeans when I can go online and buy a pair of 1990s Levi's 501s for 15 bucks on eBay, or 505s, and they fit me. They're going to fit me better than any other pair of jeans. They're broken in already and they look great. And then you know, it's also that funny thing of now I'm losing weight again. So now I have like my old clothes to get back into, which I'm very much, because I'm on the other side of my fat clothes. So now I'm getting back into my fat clothes. And then after that, I have my medium guy clothes. And then I have my skinny guy clothes. And my skinny guy wardrobe, I'm excited to get back into it because it's been a couple of years. But I'm also like, I wonder how much of the stuff's still going to be in style.
Yeah, yeah. I bought shirts that I have a whole bunch of shirts that when I get back to LA that are in like a storage unit that I have that I didn't fit into, but I bought them because like someday I'll lose weight. And I bought them years ago because I was really heavy for a while now. And so I'm gonna go through them. It's the same thing. I'm gonna pull them out and be like, "This sucks." This year, or is it gonna be like, "Oh, cool, I'll wear that." We'll see. It's gonna be a whole fun thing when I get back there.
Yeah, in my attic of our house, I have like a storage bin full of like skinny clothes,
Oh yeah,
skinny guy clothes.
why
And
not?
then I have like a couple other different things. I'm at the point now where now the pants that I was wearing below my waist, I can fit them on my, like where my actual belly button, like where my true hips are. That's another thing that I wish someone would have explained to me in my 20s that would have helped me look better, is you don't want to, it's better to get the bigger size jeans that you feel bad about being in and have them be on your actual waist versus wearing them below your gut, which is where I wore jeans forever. Because when you wear them below your gut, it makes you look shorter. Like, and then if you wear them at your true waist, it brings the eye up and it makes you actually look thinner to wear a bigger jean at your true waist.
I don't think I've ever worn jeans where they're supposed to go ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's, it's something I have to work on. But what's your proudest moment in recovery so far?
Oh man, probably getting some of those texts, taking people to their first meetings,
Yeah.
you know, that esteemable acts build self-esteem thing. You know, I'm the guy who, if I'm in a meeting and somebody shows up and all the chairs are full, I'll go get them a chair and uh from like the pile of chairs in the back of the room and put it out for them. And I do that because it makes me feel good about myself. And I'm like, I'm the person who does that, you know, because I had a home group for a long time that was like very popular and people would always come late and like it would just always fill up. And so I was just the guy who would go get the chairs for people and put them out when they show up late. And it was a nice thing I could do for other people to make them feel welcome, but also it made me feel great about myself. Like to know that like I'm a person who shows up for other people.
Yeah.
Dude, I like we just had this baby and the baby's the coolest, but like I really showed up for my wife. Like in a way where I'm like, if I ever wondered if I'm a piece of shit or a good guy, I know I'm a good guy. Like, and it was just through like I cooked every meal, uh, did a lot of the feet, you know what I mean? Like kept the house clean, reorganized stuff, moved furniture, did all the stuff. She didn't have to do anything. And it's all program shit. It's like you just show up and you get to work, chop wood, carry water, and like the younger alcoholic me wouldn't have done that shit. Younger alcoholic me would have bailed, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. What's the worst advice someone gave you while you were struggling?
Oh. It's not bad advice when I was like newly sober, like quit drinking. I remember telling another comedian who I was friends with at the time that I had quit drinking. And he was like, why? Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, clearly I like, and at the time I couldn't put it together. I was like, he's being a dick about this. But it was like, oh, that dude clearly had a drinking problem and it made him uncomfortable.
Yeah. 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 All right. Last question. What advice do you have for someone that is struggling?
Um, can't fix it all at once. It's a day at a time thing. So just like get to a meeting, be like-minded people, get phone numbers of people at the meeting and call them. And like just and if you think you're right now somewhere either on Zoom, like or in person near where you live, there is a meeting going on with people like you. If you're having a hard time, just go to a fucking meeting. You'll feel better. I've never gone to a meeting and left and felt worse. It's just showing up is all you got to do. And all these programs work on you by showing up. I say sometimes that like I was like this fucking jagged ass rock, like pointy edges, the whole thing. And then you just go and it just washes over you over the years. And then it just kind of smooths out the edges, you know, like the ocean.
Yeah. Great. All right, everybody. Go see JF Harris live. Go to his website,
Oh,
jfharris.com.
yeah.
He has
Uh,
the dates on there, things coming up, right?
I got to update my website. That's on my to-do list. But yeah, I'm going to
Don't go
start
to his
touring
website.
again. I'm going to start touring again in like February and March and adding some stuff. If anybody's in the San Diego area, Bobby Lee's shooting a special January 16th and 17th that I'm going to be opening for. And I think there's still some tickets to the late show. So if you want to watch me do 15 minutes of stand up and make you clap at different intervals and volumes for sound and audio, that would be a fun thing. Or I'm at the Comedy Store here in LA a lot. So come to that.
And watch a special. People
Oh
make
yeah, on
it's
YouTube or Amazon.
YouTube or Amazon.
And I'm
Uh,
gonna have a new special out in the next couple of weeks, which is exciting.
oh, really? Awesome. What's the name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might call it 22 things you're not supposed to talk about in polite company.
Uh, it's
Very
catchy.
short and succinct title. Yeah.
Well, go to his Instagram at the JF Harris or YouTube at JF Harris Comedy. And John Shaw, my cousin, loves you. I just had
Yeah,
lunch.
he came to my first special taping
There.
back in 2021.
Yeah, John Shaw approved.
I'm gonna be for Valentine's Day, I'm gonna be back at Coastal Creative where I shot my special.
Oh, I got to remind him. Yeah, so there you go. If
Yeah.
you're in the St. Petersburg area, Valentine's Day, go see JF Harris. So,
Yeah.
all right. Thanks for being here, Jeff.
All right, buddy.
Thank you again to my guest, JF Harris, a repeat guest, one of the OG guests on the show. If you are enjoying the show and you haven't already, please subscribe to the show, whether it is on YouTube or it's at I've Got a Problem podcast. It's a YouTube channel that you can just go and subscribe and get updates from there. Got a bunch of clips I'm going to start putting up on there as well. I was a little bit behind on that. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify or iHeartRadio or any of those other platforms and you haven't subscribed, this is your first time just checking out, please subscribe, rate it, throw a comment on there. That would be great. If you want to donate to the podcast, you can go to forrestshaw.net, which is my website, and there's a podcast section. There's a button to donate on there. Thank you to Todd for the generous donation that he sent to me recently. Donations like that all go into the podcast, and I do appreciate it. Like I said, I will never sell ads on this podcast. That's not what I'm doing it for. I will invite you to come out and see me live, though. So go to forrestshaw.net. When you're there on forrestshaw.net, go check out my calendar and see some upcoming shows. I have a bunch of local shows in LA coming up. I'm going to be in Reno with Jim Jeffries on January 16th. I'm going to be in San Jose, California with Jim Jeffries on January 17th, opening up for him. And then on January 21st, my show at the Improv, the Shawsome Show, my monthly show, I have a great lineup. It's Lachlan Patterson, Tom Rhodes, Jeff Leach, Brittany Lysing, Monica Ross is on it, and I'm missing somebody else. James Fry, my good buddy James Fry is on it. So come out on January 21st to the Melrose Improv at 8:30, the Shawsome Show. January 24th, if you're in the LA area, this is a show I really want people to come out to. It's The Ocean Hates You, is my new comedy marine biology show. This is the debut of the show. I'm running it for the first time in front of live people. It's at the Upstairs Comedy Club in downtown LA. It's called The Ocean Hates You. It's all on my website. And if you're in the Phoenix area, I'll also be running the show on February 5th, The Ocean Hates You, Mike Mania in Phoenix. Australia. I will be in Australia from February 17th to March 1st. I'll be at the Adelaide Fringe Festival at the Howling Owl. I'll be running The Ocean Hates You show every night at 7 p.m. That is February 17th through March 1st, every night except for Monday the 23rd. That's only the February 23rd that I'm dark. The Ocean Hates You at the Howling Owl in Adelaide. Then I'll be in Melbourne from February 4th to February 7th, and I will be running The Ocean Hates You show one of those nights. I believe it is March 7th that I'll be running The Ocean Hates You show. And if you don't just want to see my regular stand-up, March 4th through the 6th, I'll be at the Comics Lounge in Melbourne. I've got a bunch of other dates, including Las Vegas, Tahoe, bunch of other dates. They're all on my website, forrestshaw.net. Go check that out. And as always, if you're feeling suicidal or you might harm yourself or you're in any sort of crisis, call 988 in the United States and Canada. In Australia, the Lifeline is what they call it, 13, 11, 14. I gotta make sure these are all updated. I should look them up because I always go on and on about these. But the main point I'm just saying is reach out to somebody. There is a Wikipedia page called List of Suicide Crisis Lines. You can just Google that and find whatever country you're in's phone numbers. There's other phone numbers in there that are helpful as well. But reach out to somebody. That's the important thing. Don't be alone. Don't do it alone. I will talk to you guys next week. Love y'all.